Howdy peeps, just stopping by to put the world to rights again, you know how it is. So as always, things crop up on my social media and usually things wind me up, piss me off, get me real fucking irritated. I don't know if it's designed to do that, but that's what it does. So one of my friends posted this thing from Unilad Sound, and it's is it Ed Sheeran? Might be Ed Sheeran. I don't know who the fuck he is. Anyway, this he's talking about Ariana Grande's song, and in the title of the shared post it said this song is about shagging, it's not about maths at all, with a laughing face and all of that. And this is where I think maybe I differ with a lot of people on this planet as to why I don't like people. I think this is it. I think this is part of the problem. So a friend of the friend who posted it, who I don't know the other person in the slightest, right, comments with, "That's hilarious." And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, right, Ariana Grande. Well, I already know kind of who she is. I don't know her music. I'm aware that I did a video, I think it was 2017 or maybe even 2018, when she was playing a gig in Manchester, and we had some random turn up with a satchel full of wires and electrical equipment that, yeah, kind of made a bang, quite literally, and injured quite a few people and killed quite a few others at one of her gigs. And it was that, I mean, to talk about that, and this is going to sound cold as fuck, I don't think there's another way around it. On the one hand, I'm going to read my comment first before I talk about that, right? This is what I said to, underneath what the friend of a friend has put to, "That's hilarious." Right? So I've put, yeah. And I'd really want my daughter to be listening to that. Yeah, that's not preparing for the upcoming abuse. No, of course not. I mean, is it just me, or do people not think outside the box anymore? No pun intended. And there was no pun intended. It's just like literally like think outside the fucking box. It's like your kid is listening, your child, your flesh and blood, your little baby precious is listening to the bullshit coming out of her mouth, and you're enabling that shit where it's a thing, right? If you're not doing it, then you're fine, you're good, and I don't hate you, and I wouldn't. Anyway, so I've had to continue because the problem with me and social media and all of that, you know, can cause I would argue for how I see things at face value a lot of the time. You could argue for a bit autistic, right? Because that is a sign of sort of autism. It's like, you know, sometimes people put up little slogans and I'm sat there for a few minutes, I'm thinking, I don't know how to take this. And other times I can be bang on it and know exactly what they're on about. This is it. Anyway, to continue, I get that this is just a bit of humour. I also think that when they start to subtly sexually exploit children through lyrics, then it's no longer funny, at least not for me. And it ain't funny. And the truth be told, I mean, this isn't alien to anyone, right? I mean, I was brought up with heavy metal, which is just like kids just wilding out, I suppose, long hair, guitars, drum kits and all that shit. Some you learnt a bit of history, Iron Maiden and all of that, and you got Guns N' Roses and all of that. And sure, these are all like genres and subcultures of music. You could then argue for this side of it, because I was also brought up with 80s and 90s hip hop, rap, East and West Coast. So it was like Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Tupac, Biggie, you know, all of that. Then obviously as time passed, more artists came out over the years. And I think the difference, and I think it's all open to correction. Oh, and Cypress Hill as well, got to give them a shout out, you know. No, because they were a big influence in my life back in the early 90s. You know, they released Black Sunday for starters, and Cypress Hill. You know, two of the very underrated albums in my opinion. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about albums, I'm here to talk about the content. Now, with hip hop and rap, whether it's East Coast, West Coast, North Side, South Side, whatever, a lot of the time they're either egging each other on or they're telling a story. Right? That's pretty much what a rap skit is. It's either a made up story in some cases of things that are going to happen because blah blah blah, whatever reason, right? Or or the other one is they're talking about stuff that did actually happen to them, and they're putting it into a song and putting it to a beat and giving their side of the story or their perspective of that story. Now, you could probably equally argue almost the same. It's like, well, hip hop artists, encourage, violence on violence. You could argue for, with this case, within the sort of black community, because that's where hip hop originated from. You could argue that they encourage their own to do it. Their own children and their own neighborhood to carry on in their footpaths. And it's like, well, a lot of the time, I think, especially as they get older, you'd sort of think, well, would they actually want their own kids to go through what they went through? I mean, take like 50 Cent, allegedly got shot 9 times. Right, there was the whole fiasco between Tupac and Biggie and what went down with that. And you could sort of argue the same sort of point, but rather than it from being from a sexual nature, such as Ariana Grande and many other popular culture artists within the music industry, who do aim their songs towards a sort of younger generations. And in particular, when I think back to the atrocity that took place back in Manchester at Ariana Grande's concert, the majority of the attendees, there was a large number of attendees that were going with their parents, obviously, because, explicit content or whatever. And they were like 12 years old or something. And it's like, do the parents not listen to the music? I mean, look, I got to say, I'm being somewhat hypocritical here. At the same time, it's like, you're not. You might be listening to a bit of Dr. Dre in the car or whatever, and you've got your son by your side, and you're both giving it the Still Dre or whatever, or what was his other little favourite on there? Little favourite of mine. There's too many actually on the Chronic 2001. But yeah, when he's basically doing the skit with Eminem, he's talking about offing Kim. If you ever need to remember, if you ever need anyone off, just let me know whose throat it is and all that. And it's like, this is just it. There's a difference between, as Bizarre from D12 points out in one of D12's songs, music and reality. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, but we, as he says, but we as entertainers have a responsibility to these kids. Psych. Exactly. He does not have a responsibility to the kids. The music is there for entertainment, and it is down to the parents to listen to the music and then make a good judgment, as to whether the kids should be listening to it or not. Now, like I said, it's somewhat hypocritical, because where there's been relationships where I've been with like a single mum or whatever, and I'll be listening to some hip hop at some point, so it will sort of come about. And again, it's the difference is for the most part, well, that they're not going to go and get a Tech 9 and roll up on anyone anytime soon, because a lot of the time they're just not, right? They're just not. However, and again, this comes to maybe it's a biological thing as well, perhaps, just to throw this one into the argument. But I think the guys, generally speaking, tend to know that, someone would have to do something pretty damn serious to get rolled up on with a Tech 9, right? Well, not always necessarily the case. You could argue for turf wars in the US and even turf wars over here. And you could also argue, well, instead of using a Tech 9, they might improvise and, I don't know, use knives like they do. And okay, yeah, no, that's fair point. But you'd still need to have an argument in the first place as to why you'd, or a situation as to why you'd end up going that far. So explaining that to a young male, you're probably going to get more logical conversation out of it. Now, where young girls are concerned, because, I mean, you know, generally speaking, you know, men, logic and reason, women, feelings and emotions, right? It's no different for kids, but the problem is with the kids is that they're at a much more vulnerable age as, you know, as they grow up and they become, they go through the stages of becoming, like, going through like teenager, like young teenager to 18, then 19, 20, and the experiences that they have. All the time that they're being exploited to music like this is putting them, in my opinion, in a bad situation, whereas they could literally be exploited unknowing and unwillingly by someone else that knew better, by someone else that knew that they were in that situation. And this is why I have problems with posts and internet. This is why I have so much issue with people, because like I said at the beginning, it's like if that was my daughter, I'd be getting all them Ariana Grande CDs and I would literally just throw them out. I'd just throw the lot out. I'd be like, you ain't listening to that shit. Nah. Oh, you're such an authoritarian father. It's like, no, I don't want my kid to be in that position where some other fucker might just like know how to manipulate that situation. And oh yeah, but Ariana sings about it. So so oh, it fucking winds me up. And again, maybe it's because I see the world to a different light to many of my friends. They're just they're just talking about maths. Oh look, 69, isn't that funny? And like, look, on a normal day, yes, I would find that, you know, probably amusing if it wasn't in that context. Like, you know, how much money you got? Oh, I've just spent £1. I had 7. I got 69. 69. Yeah, brilliant. You know, like that, I can have a laugh with it. But it's like you start crossing that line where it's like music designed for the younger generations to listen to, and it puts them in a very precarious position, in my opinion. You know, yeah, you're crossing a fine line. You're crossing a real fine line, and my thoughts on people. Can be changed as a result. You know, again, that's not to say that, you know, generally I think people are fucking stupid, but maybe I'm the stupid one. There seems to be a lot of stupid out there. It's like, well, maybe it's not them, maybe it is actually me, right? I just try and keep as rational and as reasonable as possible when it's required. You know, but other times, you know, you see shit like this and it's like, how the fuck are you even supposed to respond? But anyway, look, I'm going to wrap this one up. It's been long enough. Thank you all for listening. What are your thoughts on this one? I'd be curious to know. I know none of you don't like talking a great deal in the comment section. I would appreciate it if you did. But you probably won't, so fuck you. Bollocks to you. Don't give a fuck. I'll catch you all on the next one. Enjoy the weekend. Stay cool, stay free, and peace out.